presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Kansas City.
Royals baseball comes to you from Target Field in Minneapolis, where the Twins have outscored the Royals 16-2 in the first two games of the series. Jason Hammel makes his Royals debut today, trying to avoid a sweep. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Maybe the most surprising, certainly the most exciting acquisition for the Royals this past offseason was acquiring Jason Hammel as a free agent. He makes his debut today.
Yeah, you know, the Glass family did a great job there. After the tragic loss of the ace, Yordano Ventura, what were we going to do to fill that spot? Well, you're never going to be able to fill Ventura's spot, but the greatest pitcher available at that particular time was this guy, Jason Hammel. They went out and got him. 2-year deal. Hey, this is a guy who has the veteran skills and the savvy to put some wins and eat up some innings. There's the numbers.
And unless he goes 9 today, he's going to need some help from the Royals bullpen. They've really struggled in the first two games of the series. We'll break that down when we come back. Sports Kansas City is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Kansas City Royals. But it's only 2 games, but the alarming part of it is the number one concern going into the season was the Royals bullpen.
Sure it was, but these guys are big league pitchers, okay? Get the job done, throw strikes, trust the defense. It's in their DNA. It just hasn't happened yet.
Today, the Royals will be facing Kyle Gibson. They've had quite a bit of success against him in the past, but Gibson is a new pitcher going into 2017. Minnesota starter Kyle Gibson had a 6.75 ERA against the Royals last year, so a lot of Royals in the lineup today have big numbers against him in the past. And they will need those big numbers today, trying to avoid a sweep. Game 3 is coming up next. If you're in the sun, because otherwise it is very cold, 48 degrees and very windy. A lot of focus on the struggles of the Royals bullpen in the first 2 games of the series. However, the Royals offense has combined with just 2 runs on 7 hits in the first 2 games, so they need to get that going today. And Brandon Moss returns to the lineup. He'll be the DH at bat 6 with a right-hander on the mound. And that right-hander is Kyle Gibson. And using his description of 2016, Kyle Gibson said last year was garbage for me. So he's got a lot to prove this year.
Lots of times garbage makes you appreciate the good times, and you learn more when the garbage is taken out, believe it. He's done some homework this offseason, and he's expecting a better season this year. Defending behind Gibson, which will be very important. He's a ground ball pitcher. We're going to highlight Gibson. Now the opponents in last season were 11 for 13, so when you get on, rip him off. Start making something happen offensively while the bats have been cool. If they can just get on base, get that running game in order.
Rob Drake will call the balls and strikes. That's the crew chief right there. Second base umpire Jerry Davis, his 34th year as a big league umpire, with Pat Hoberg at first and Tony Randazzo at third. Alex Gordon had a bit of a scare yesterday leading off the game against Hector Santiago. He was hit on the back of his right hand. So he was able to finish the game yesterday. Good to see him back in there today. It hit him flush. And he's after the first pitch and misses. No balls and 1 strike. Alex, one of several Royals in the lineup today who have done very well against Gibson in the past. 1-1. Gibson going with what a lot of pitchers are doing these days, if not pitching exclusively out of the stretch, kind of a modified stretch position. He got to the big leagues because of a very good sinking fastball, which did not sink much last year.
Nope, sunk over the infielders' heads in the outfield wall. Fastball, slider, changeup, curve, that's what he's featuring, and there's the percentile of pitches that he used last year. But the opponents, like you said, Rhino, almost hit a 350 clip on that heater. And so far, the first 3 pitches have all been pretty straight to Alex and elevated just like that. We showed some highlights earlier in the game, or earlier in the pregame show today, about guys that were hitting Gibson. They had shots of him, and it's all fastballs just like that one Alex fouled off. All belt high and above, and until he can straighten that or get that ball to sink, he's highly flammable. They got to jump on him. Another one elevated. And so today is the battle of the 6'6" guys that use the downhill plane pitchers. The guys, both guys, Hamill and Gibson, tall, want to use that leverage to work down in the zone, establish that fastball. But the pitches Alex is getting are all up.
And he got away with a high breaking ball. Gibson begins the day with a strikeout.
Second to third baseman number 8, Mike Moustakas.
Just a little change of speed, little wrinkle right there fooled Alex. And you know, the Royals are expecting him down in the zone where he normally likes to live with that sinker, but not that at bat.
One down to Mike Moustakas, who was hit safely in each of the first 2 games. And now if you go back to last year, has a 9-game hitting streak against the Twins. He homered on opening day, hit it into the porch in right field against Irvin Santana. 2-0. Moustakas is back at third base today after spending yesterday as the designated hitter. That's the first time in his career he's been a DH. Took a little off it. 2-1.
Well, Kyle Gibson in the offseason went home, and after his so-called garbage season, players are going to make some adjustments, and he found a way that he thinks he can get his arm angle at a 90-degree angle and staying on top and working down the zone. And he did that with getting a small yellow ball, and he puts it in between his forearm and his bicep, and he would stick it there, and when he would throw the ball, when he got extended, the ball would pop out of there to the pitching coach, Neil Allen, and it helped him keep the ball down and working his sinker down. That was the whole purpose of the drill that he found. Check it out. There it is. Not a little ball. It's a small one. I mean, it's a large one. Check him out. See, and he's doing that to tell himself, I want to keep my arm at a certain angle and not let it go sideways. If I go sideways with the angle, the ball flattens out and it's hittable. And so talking with Neil Allen before the game, he told me it's a mental exercise. As much as it was a physical exercise, or what we saw there with the ball, it's more mental for him. And that's where you make the most gains in this game here. Pitchers and hitters, the mental side is the most delicate side. So we'll see.
Had him reaching, so he went with a changeup. And Kepler will bring it down in right field, 2 away. Well, ever since Kyle Gibson became a Minnesota Twin, there have been big expectations attached to him. He was their first-round pick in 2009 out of MU after growing up in Indiana. Made his major league debut against the Royals and got his first win in that game in 2013. Had Tommy John surgery in between being drafted in his big league debut. Bauer to the side wall, and it's back into the 4th row.
Well, the first inning has usually been the tough innings for Kyle Gibson. Last year, he gave a 7.5 ERA in the first inning with 5 home runs. Opponents hit 340. And by looking at his stuff right now, the Royals are missing some pitches that are up. He's giving them some good stuff to hit.
1-1 on Lorenzo Cain.
But it's so much easier up here to say they should be hitting it than I remember what it was like down there. Cool day, wind blowing, dries the eyes, they water. So it's hard to see too. Is that wind blowing in your face, and it's coming in from left field. And it's brisk down there.
Good take by Cain. That's exactly where Gibson and Castro wanted it.
It's a tight little slider. And that's right where he wants to put it. 1-2 count. Get it off the plate.
Gibson thought it was strike 3.
And that came right back over. It started on the outside part of the plate. It looked to me like it was caught some in the corner. Hey, well, LORENZO will take it.
And that is low for ball 4. That's the second time in the series that Lorenzo Cain wanted to hit so bad that he didn't want to leave on ball 4.
Again, look, but I tell you now, Castro, he's looking back and talking to home plate umpire right now, Rob Drake, and he's saying, come on, Rob, really? That's last 2 pitches were strikes. So they're talking, they're talking it out now. So what the Royals want to do here in the first inning, I told you, he's given up a 340 opponent average, Gibson has. Jump on him. Take the walk, and now Haas can barrel something and get him a lead before Hamill even toes the slab.
That's a strike. Hosmer is 1 for 7 in the series. He had a 4th inning single yesterday.
LORENZO, big lead. We talked about it earlier, how you can get a good jump off of Kyle Gibson with all those long legs. Quick feet there, though. That's a nice little quick move over to first.
One on Hosmer. Minnesota is shifting more today against the Royals than they were in the first 2 games. They played most of the Royals straight up, just slight shifts, but they had an overshift on Gordon. They had an overshift on Moustakas. They even had an overshift on Cain. And the shift works perfectly here. That's an easy play for the shortstop Polanco. Cain is forced out, and that's it for the Royals at the top of the first, with Jason Hamill about to make his Royals debut. Brian Dozier in the ballpark. He had 11 home runs against the Royals last year. And yet the Twins have scored 16 runs in the first 2 games of the series. And today they'll be facing Jason Hammel, making his Royals debut. And he's making his 7th career start against Minnesota. A career-high 15 wins last year pitching for the Cubs. That was 5 more than any other season, with a 3.83 earned run average.
Beautiful pitch to start out. That's what he wants to do too. As well as Gibson, 6'6". I mentioned at 220. Hammel wants to work downhill. Work that sinking fastball. And we'll show you his pitch breakdown. Fastball, slider, curve change, similar to Gibson, and almost similar as far as the percentage of his fastball usage. He wants to establish that fastball if he can. Now, if they're hitting it, you know, you don't want to stay with a certain pitch, but establish the fastball, command it down. Sliders is out pitch. Change up is a good pitch. It's an out pitch to the lefties. And his curveball, he'll throw it early or he'll throw it later, as sometimes just to show it, a show me type pitch to the hitter.
I told you, like Kyle Gibson, Hammel's big, 6'6", 225 pounds, 34 years old. And boy, does he look like Luke Hochevar until you get right up next to him.
He does. I had heard early in the spring, you know, you guys on radio, until I actually got to Arizona, talking about how much they look alike, and they're right on. Look at there's Hoch.
Three and two on Dozier.
Luke hasn't signed with anyone.
He has not. He had the thoracic outlet surgery where they remove a rib to help circulation. And in some cases, the nerves in that area are a little slower to regenerate. And so he's still building his arm strength. So he'll be a fresh arm for somebody at some point this year. Dozier's out on a ground ball to short.
Our Ford around the horn defense. We're highlighting Alex Gordon. Why should we? 843 starts. That's the most in Major League Baseball since 2011. Like it. He's an Iron Man. Believe it. Took a shot off the wrist. I know, I'm going to say 80 to 90% of hitters that get hit in the wrist early on a cold day like that, first AB, you're going to take yourself out. They're going to take precautionary x-rays, but not Alex. He stayed in there. Shows me something. Very fortunate that nothing was wrong.
Right.
Very.
Yeah, you break something in your hand, doesn't matter how tough you are,
Right.
the hand just isn't going to work.
Right. Has nothing to do with your pain tolerance.
1-1 on Max Kepler. Kepler had a key hit in the opening day win for Minnesota over the Royals. That what was supposed to be a sac bunt, which turned into a bunt single and got the Twins going in a 6-run 7th inning. The Twins have scored 6 runs in the 7th inning in both games.
Strange how that is, how baseball works. But, you know, the Royals are, from the mound, are going to have to figure some things out. Use that defense. Make the plays for them. Just like Minnesota's done. Perfect 2 first games for them. They haven't flawed anywhere. On the mound, in the field, at the plate. They've played perfect baseball. And as a matter of fact, if the playoffs started today, Minnesota would be golden.
And there's a little extra motivation for them. I mean, Royals embarrassed them last year. Royals went 15-4 against Minnesota last year. Well, hit the center. CAIN gets turned around, and that is not an easy play at all. But Lorenzo CAIN made it look very easy. 2 down. Well, the Royals need a big game from Jason Hammel today, their first win of the year. Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and the numbers will tell us that this is the right man today. Since 2011, Jason Hammel is 19-5 in the month of April. A very good ERA, very low opponent's batting average. And he got off to a terrific start for the Cubs last year. As Buxton pops it up into the glare. Mondesi wants it. And a nice tidy 1-2-3 bottom of the first for Hammel. Salvador Perez will lead off the top of the second inning. One of the best hitters in Target Field history. Hoffman Stadium, school day at the K, presented by Price Chopper and hosted by the Fox 4 weather team. Students and teachers alike will have a blast learning about Kansas City weather while catching the Royals on the field. This event will begin prior to the game on Thursday, May 4th, with the presentation starting at 10 a.m. That's a 1:15 game with the Chicago White Sox. School day at the K, Thursday, May 4th.
Hope they get some good weather to teach him about the weather.
Hit well to left field. Santana was shallow. He gets turned around. It wasn't as graceful as CAIN's play, but a play nonetheless.
Wow, that was a nice play. I mean, that ball, Salvi crushed it. If he gets under that 1/8 of an inch, it's a homer. Tough route, but he's able to stay with it. Santana made a beautiful catch there. Almost as difficult as low Cain's, except Lorenzo Cain, he had to run a lot further to get his.
Strike to Brandon Moss. He was the DH on opening day, was 0 for 3. Mike Moustakas was the DH yesterday. Dozier picks it up, 2 down. And now another Royal who's done well at Target Field against the Twins in his career, and specifically against Kyle Gibson, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, with at least 10 at-bats. Paulo Orlando is second to Francisco Lindor, who's hitting .800 against Kyle Gibson.
Shocker.
And Brett Lawrie, who I believe is still a free agent after being released by the White Sox in spring training.
It's a little surprised no one's picked him up. It's early. But Lindor is killing it again this year. He's hurt the Rangers big time. Walk off. or not walk-off, hit a salami yesterday.
Tie game late.
Yep, Rangers having a hard time getting on the win column. Ooh, that's just pulled a tad top hand heavy. The top hand gets out there ahead of your bottom hand, you hook it. Apollo did so well at staying in the middle of the field last season.
Apollo hit .433 against Minnesota last year. .361 against the Twins in his career. .375 here. That sinker had a lot of bite to it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's exactly what Kyle Gibson wants there. And sometimes less is more. When you try to overthrow, you're looking for trouble. It flattens out and stays straight if you're trying to throw it too hard. Sometimes you take a little off, it sinks, just like that last one. Slider got him.
3 up, 3 down. That's Gibson's second strikeout. Of the Rays 15 years ago, from the Rays to the Rockies, from the Rockies to the Orioles, from the Orioles to the Cubs, traded to the A's, went back to the Cubs. He is 34 years old. He is just now becoming a name nationally when you talk about some of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball, but he's been around for a long time. As he described it, the slow evolution of a pitcher to get to where he is right now, coming off 15 wins last year for the Cubs. And now his first start with the Royals. And he jams Mauer, who drives it out to CAIN in center field, and Hamels set down the first 4. Let's go down to Joel.
Talking to the Cubs folks, guys, during the offseason, they said, you're going to love Jason Hamel. Great in the clubhouse. I thought very classy when he signed. He recognized right away that he was here. He knows because of what happened with Yordano Ventura. And then when he left town, he sent out this tweet. I thought this was a lot of fun, and it'll spark a lot of debate. That tweet saying, I want a BBQ, be back quick in KC. Royals Nation, what are your favorite BBQ spots, barbecue spots? I'm going to love this city. He replied to that saying he had over 25 restaurant recommendations, and so that he's got some work to do. And guys, to give you a little sense of his humor, talking to him during spring training, I asked him about giving up that famous wild card hit to Salvador Perez, and he said, I was setting myself up for 2 years down the road, making a fan base love me for when I came in later.
And he has said many times he put that ball exactly where he wanted it. I mean, that was not a so-called mistake pitch, but Salvador Perez is a bad ball hitter.
Yep. So, you know, I'm not as privileged as you guys are to go to spring training early. Okay, I get to go second, third week of March. This year when I got down there, Salvi had just gotten back from the World Baseball Classic, and he was catching a side session with Hamill. It's the first time the two had played, had caught, and Salvi was catching him. And I went behind the screen, and I'm watching this, and Hamill threw a slider to Salvi, and it was about 2 feet outside, and Hamill says, "That's the one you hit." And Salvi snapped and threw the ball back, and he goes, "Yeah, right in my wheelhouse." And so it was interesting. That was the first time they had thrown to each other, and all he had to do was say, "That's the one you hit." And I knew, Salvi knew, we all knew what that hit was.
Off the end of the bat, but Sano was able to take advantage of the shift. Escobar was over to the hole. That's Minnesota's first hit and first base runner. Sano has driven in 5 in the first 2 games of the series.
Sano's gotten off to a good start. Unlike last season, he struggled like his team did, getting going. And plus, being 23 years young, he's young in the league. That's not good when you get up to a slow start and they've handed you a position. And he was playing right field. A tough spot out there for him, and it didn't work out, so they moved him back to his natural position at third, with Trevor Plouffe being gone out to Oakland now. Left an opening for him.
Jason Castro is 2 out of 3 with 5 walks in the first 2 games. He walked 4 times yesterday, career high for him, and the first Twin to walk 4 times in a game in 7 years. The Royals are just having a tough time throwing him strikes. No disrespect, but you want a 210 hitter to swing the bat.
Yeah, I think, you know what, he's the more pitches you can see, the better off you are. I mean, he's taking all those pitches and walks, it gives you a better advantage as a hitter. And in game 1, got those 2 base hits to left field, so I'd say that Castro's locked in. You're seeing the ball like that, and you're taking your pitches, and you're getting a few, 2 hits he got were to the opposite field. That means you're seeing the ball pretty well.
2-1.
You were talking about Hamill, and how happy he is to be here and in this uniform, and just thinking about what a fit he is. He's a family man. Loves it. He's got a couple of children. Tough play here. Oh, careful, Alex. It's just the wall there. It's only thigh high, so that's what makes it even more dangerous for a field. Of course, in Chicago, we all know what Alex did going into the stands there. He just leaped that wall and crashed into 3 or 4 people and made the play. But it makes me nervous.
He didn't have an angle like that to deal with.
No, it makes me a little nervous seeing him there. Anyway, Hamill, he's got his wife Alyssa, son Beckett, daughter Colby. He's totally into the family part in his career right now, in his early 30s. He smells the roses. He's excited, and hopefully he'll be able to help the Royals get into the win column today.
3-2 on Castro. Sano runs. Castro fouls it away. Minnesota didn't do a whole lot on the positive side last year, and that's what happens when you lose 103 games, but they will run. Paul Mulder was an aggressive base runner in his Hall of Fame career. Minnesota was 5th in the league in stolen bases last season. They were also 5th in walks, so it's not entirely new for the Twins to be patient at the plate. Castro walks again. one out, a single, and a walk. And 2 on for Polanco.
Batting seventh, shortstop number 11, Jorge Polanco.
On opening day, it was a very well-pitched game for the first 6 innings. Danny Duffy and Irvin Santana. Matt Strom took over in the 7th and gave up what looked like a harmless jam shot bloop single to center field to Polanco. Strom made a good pitch on his hands, and we had no idea that was going to turn into a 6-run inning. It was Polanco who got it going. And he was out of the lineup yesterday, and Eduardo Escobar was at shortstop, and Escobar homered and drove in 4 runs.
Interesting. Why Muller didn't ride him out today.
1-1 on Polanco, switch hitter.
Obviously, you know, the manager, he knows a lot more than we do about his team, but he probably told Polanco, "You're my everyday shortstop." So, you know, he gave Escobar a day, and then just because he had a big game didn't mean that he was going to leave Polanco on the pine. So probably that's what it was, without asking Molly.
That might remind you a little bit of the Royals Escobar, Alcides Escobar, who struggled as a hitter in his first year with the Royals, but Ned Yost just stayed with him. And Ned took a lot of heat in Escobar's first 2 years in Kansas City for leaving Escobar in the game in a critical situation, tie game, Royals down, Ned not going to a more experienced hitter on the bench. He wanted Escobar to continue to get experience as a hitter. And when the Royals won the World Series, Alcides Escobar was the ALCS MVP.
That's right. And that goes a long way to establish confidence for the player.
Base hit center field on a 1-2 pitch. Minnesota is going to take the lead. So Polanco with a short swing drives in Sano. And the Twins have runners at first and third.
Yep, Minnesota continuing to get the hit when they need it. Runner in scoring position. Ball was left up on the outer half. And you can see right there where Mondesi is. But ball was hit too hard. They had him played just right. Stayed inside the ball and found the hole.
This is Eddie Rosario, who played left the first 2 games. He's the DH today. And he swings and fouls it off of Salvi. Rosario, like Byron Buxton, was expected to get a full season in the big leagues last year, but after some early season struggles, ended up spending a lot of the year in AAA. On the ground, could be 2. Bobbled, and the Royals get 1, and a run scores. So Hamill got the ground ball. Mondesi trying to be a little too quick there.
Yep. First man, sure. Second man, quick. You can't get that double play until you gotta catch it and not try to be too quick. He looked up. See, he lifted up his head. Fortunately, on the rebound, at least they got an out on the play.
It's not Hamill's fault, as the Royals had a chance for a double play, but that's another walk turning into a run. And now Rosario somehow got around Hosmer's tag. He was out by a mile.
Yep, good heads up with his arm shift by Rosario. Look, they had him by plenty. He's going to steal. Haas had it, but see,
the ball came out.
And he took his his right arm and he lifted it. It still was it was a great job of trying to trick him. But yeah, Haas, if he hangs on to him, he would have found a way to tag him. So again, the Royals just not being themselves at all. It's almost like this is the beginning of spring training. You know, the pitching's not right. The defense hasn't been lined up in the right positions at times, and the hitting's not there. It's just really signs of an early spring game here. Meantime, Minnesota can do nothing. So far, it's continuing that way.
This is Santana's first at bat, but he's already made a nice play on defense in the top half of this inning on a line drive from Salvador Perez, making an awkward play and yet a play nonetheless, running and leaping to the warning track. That could have been a leadoff double. On Santana. Well, there are a few themes in this series, but the biggest one is this. The Royals have now walked 17 and 10 have scored. Minnesota, who had an awful year on the mound last year, the worst in the major leagues, or at least in the American League, they've only walked 6 and none have scored. There's a base hit, so that's 2 hits in this inning, where the Twins hitter was down 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the double play continues to sting. Instead of the Royals being at the plate right now, Twins have 2 runs, and they have 2 on with 2 out, and Dozier coming up.
Even the slider almost looks like Danny Santana knew it was coming. Nice job of waiting. He waited, and just stayed inside the ball and just slapped it out there to left. Good at bat. It wasn't like that was a hanging breaking ball. That was a pretty good spot.
So now this becomes a dangerous hitter in a dangerous situation. Minnesota essentially has been given an extra out. And Dozier with 2 on 2 out. He grounded out to short his first time. Oh and 1. That against Hamill is similar to Dozier against the Royals. If he gets a hit, it's usually a home run. Great spot, and it's 0-2. All the problems the Royals have had on the mound in the series so far, they really pitched Dozier well. I mean, they have not given him anything good to pull. They're staying away from him. Dozier's made a lot of outs in the air to the right side. One and 2.
That's good pitch there. Make sure you don't want to give him anything too good when you're ahead in the count. See if you can get him a little bit anxious. He loves anything middle in. He loves to pull that ball.
Two and 2. Good breaking ball. That's about as bad a swing as you're going to see from Dozier. So that cost Hamill 9 extra pitches, not turning the double play. Minnesota gets 2 in the second. So far, with the Twins outplaying the Royals so far in 2+ games, and now a 2-0 lead going into the 3rd inning. A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Escobar, Mondesi, and Gordon. Royals are without a hit in the first 2 innings against Gibson. Gibson has walked a hitter.
Gibson has some two-seam tailing action into the righties. And then he's got that one that goes down and away right there now. That was his little slider. So when he has pretty good stuff and good action on that two-seamer, it makes that slider look even better for him, not to the hitter.
No swing. Pat Hoberg is the first base umpire. He's hoping for his first hit right here. And the Royals are yet to have a hit from the lower third of the order in the first 3 games. 2-2. To Polanco, 1 away.
Batting ninth for the Royals, second baseman number 27, Mondesi.
And now Mondesi, 0 for 6 in the first 2 games.
He's a tremendous bunting threat. We all know that. But even if they're in on the grass and expecting the bunt, with his kind of speed, it puts pressure on the defender. Even he's got to be perfect, the defender does, not Mondesi. So just because they're in, don't let that mentally take you out of your game. And I think he understands that. He's not afraid. But Gibson with a good pitch there to jam him. A little bunt attempt.
Was up and out of the strike zone.
You know, looked extremely confident in spring training, did Mondesi, by far. Very dominant, as a matter of fact. But then we all knew, including Ned, that it would change once the bell rings. It always does.
2 down.
And what I mean by that is they start hitting their spots, those pitchers, and they're generally ahead of hitters at this time of year, and they start breaking that snappy off, just like this one here. and taking advantage of his aggressiveness, they're not going to give him anything to hit until he shows he can lay off of it. So it's just part of the evolution and the learning process of being a big leaguer. It sometimes takes a few years, not just, you know, 1 or 2. It might take longer.
Backdoor slider for a strike. Alex is 0 for 1. Our Kubota power stats. Alex has hit more home runs against the Twins than any other team. And with 1 more home run, he'll have more home runs against the Twins than any other Royal. Tied with George Brett. He has 1 home run in his career against Gibson. 2-1. Three balls, 1 strike. Mike Moustakas is on deck.
Right now, you know, Alex, he's a very selective hitter and the most patient on the Royals offense. Doesn't have to come out of his shoes here. Look, just got to be right there if he wants it. If not, make him throw it again.
Took something off of it.
He did.
And I see that pitch very often these days, but you know, most guys are fastball, changeup, and there'll be 8 to 12 miles an hour difference. But that was kind of an in-between pitch.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about last game. The variation a pitcher can use off of that fastball is multiple pitches. You can turn that into with just 1 pitch.
Oh, got it. Alex thought it was high. He's going to talk about it with Rob Drake. Gibson has set down the last 7 Royals. Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Ford, going further so you can. Max Kepler takes ball 1 against Jason Hamill. 48 degrees, but windy. And that wind is coming out of the north, so it is a cold day at Target Field. It helps a little bit to be in the sun. Kepler drove 1 to the track in center field in the first inning. Lorenzo CAIN made a very good running play, getting turned around, but adjusting to make the catch. Kepler, Buxton, and Mauer are coming up.
A couple years ago, that catch he made out there on that bullpen, man, was spectacular.
Trevor Plouffe, I think, is the twin who hit it. I mean, that's a long way. This is one of the deepest left center fields in baseball. And Lorenzo Cain, you know, most home runs, the outfielder gets to the wall and is able to find the wall, set his feet, then jump. Lorenzo was running and jumping at the same time.
And full out, full speed. I mean, we've seen a lot of great catches of guys bringing back home runs over the past 10 years. You know, you see them on highlight reels, but that's one of the best I've ever seen because of the degree of difficulty.
That'll drop in front of Lorenzo Cain. Kepler did a good job with that slider. Leadoff man on for the Twins for the first time. And now Byron Buxton. Might be a good time for a hit and run if you're Paul Molitor. You've got Buxton, who's scuffling. He's 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. Got a big hole on the right side, and maybe the Royals are thinking along those lines and trying to keep Kepler close.
But giving him that whole right side, thinking he's going to pull. And you know, you're right. Sometimes you do that. It takes the pressure off the hitter. Make him swing at one certain pitch. Now that last pitch wouldn't have been a good one to get on, but they're going to have to find a way to get him going. Honestly, he's playing over almost in back of second base. So the right side is wide open for Buxton.
Not running, and it's fouled away. We will see the only player that was drafted ahead of Buxton, Carlos Correa. The Royals will be in Houston tomorrow for a 3-game series before heading back to Kansas City. Two.
That's a good pitch by Hamill. Right on his hands. Keep it in. Don't let him get anything out there and get it extended on and drive that ball. Kepler, he stole 6 bases last season for the Twins. He's an occasional guy that's going to steal. He's not a guy who's going to go out there and steal every or attempt every time he gets out there. Hamill looks like he's got a good move. He's a decent athlete. Hamill feels his position pretty well. When you're that tall, it's not always easy to get all your arms and legs all in sync.
Two and two. Escobar, Mondesi, close, safe. And with Buxton's speed, that ball needed to be hit a little bit harder.
Yep, instead of 2 hops, just 1 hopper would have been good. Hey, Escobar, very nice. Quick transfer right down there low. Mondesi stayed on the base. I know they're watching for that now. There's no such thing as being in the vicinity anymore with your feet around the bag. You've got to be on the base. With above average speed, it says, nah.
Joe Mauer lined out to center field in his first at bat. You know how they're trying to speed up the game by eliminating the intentional walk pitches. There was a time where if you wanted to speed up the game, when Joe Mauer came to the plate with the Royals, just put him on first base because that's where he's going to end up somehow.
Right.
But when he singled yesterday, he had gone 28 consecutive plate appearances against the Royals without a hit. Two balls and no strikes.
You ask any major league hitter, especially a prolific one like Mauer, would you rather get off to a good fast start, or would you just kind of like to ease into it? They'll tell you, the sooner the better. Let's start getting the hits. Get the hits early, the confidence starts to happen. Even if you're a veteran player, you get off to a slow start, there's always that, oh man, they're starting to press a little bit. Grip the bat a little tighter, maybe trying to do too much, and then you start lining the ball out to people. That's even worse. Starting to hit the ball, but you get no love for it, no results. And it can be frustrating. Alex Gordon talks about how he has Mauer played just the way he thinks he can rob him. And he's taking a lot of hits from him.
Buxton was running.
Everybody clap your hands. Come on, y'all.
It's not just the ballpark's fault, but this ballpark was not built for Joe Mauer's strengths. Balls that would fly out of the Metrodome to left field and left center are outs in this ballpark. Running again, and a ground ball to Hosmer. No chance with Buxton running. Buxton, by not looking in, was confused, and he almost started running back to first base.
He was so focused on the steal that he didn't even peek in. So contact was made, and you know, when you're not looking at the ball as a runner, at least taking a peek back, that's when Escobar or the shortstop can fool you. Watch Escobar at the top of your screen there. Watch him. He's going to act like he's got the ball coming. And now Buxton has no clue where it is. Even on a steal attempt, sometimes it's okay to take a slight peek back to the hitter to at least see. You can hear, but if you don't know where it's going, it messes the runner up.
Especially when you're that fast. Way up into the blue sky to right field. Apollo makes the play, and the Twins are scoreless in the bottom of the third inning. parents, sign the kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, presented by Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. This year's membership includes a Blue Crew jersey, a flat bill cap, special edition earbuds, Royals eye black, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and more for just $30. Royals.com/Blue Crew. Get the kids ready for Royals baseball. Moustakis flied to right in the first inning. Gibson made a good pitch on him with a changeup down. A little more tempting than that one was. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like the fact that Moose was on the first fastball of Gibson. He was ready. He knows that Gibson's going to try to get ahead and establish his fastball, and Moose with a good short swing, just a little bit up.
Another changeup.
Okay, now Minnesota sends their third baseman, Sano, all the way over and back at second base. They had a little bit of a shift there. And the reason they do that, they put Sano over there, is because lots of times when a left-handed batter hits a flare out to left field, the shortstop has more speed, has better speed, so he can cover all that area out there where there's no players. That's why they move the guy with the lesser range up the middle.
Muscled into right field. Mike Moustakis is on to begin the 4th inning. Going to bring up Lorenzo Cain. He is walked, and he's made a good play in center field today. We were talking about a great play he made here a few years ago in center.
One look down on the dead speed, dead run. He picked that ball right off the top of the wall as it was going to head over. Today, similar. I mean, it wasn't hit in the right direction as far, but you could see how he turned, and he turned with his face towards the wall instead of the other way around, and that's the quicker way to turn when you make the wrong move on contact. So he's a tremendous athlete and knows how to get the right break, and if you don't get it, he turned the right way. You turn with your face to the wall, and then you turn back around to your other side.
0-2 on Cain. Got to make sure you get a pitch up against Gibson in a situation like that. Our Toyota league leaders in the previous 2 seasons, only 3 pitchers in the major leagues got more ground ball double plays than Kyle Gibson, and that may have gotten Gibson's glove, and that prevented a double play. So Gibson not fielding it cleanly or not letting it get by him cost the Twins an out.
First baseman number 35, Eric Hosmer.
Now, it's not exactly self-defense, but it was right on his glove side there, and he just didn't get the glove placed where he wanted to, or else they might have been able to turn too, but you're right. Dozier would have had it.
Hosmer grounded out to short his first time up. That's upstairs, ball 1. So let's see if the Royals can turn this into a run. Back in the bottom of the 2nd inning, the Royals did not turn a double play. Minnesota turned that into a run. Cain continues to have a big lead over at first. To Mauer. Out at second. Gibson covering. Double play. So they didn't get one double play, but they turned the more difficult one. And the Royals Royals send 3 to the plate in the 4th inning. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, and we have time for our sprint trivia question. Who was the last Royals free agent to win 15 or more games the previous season? Jason Hammel won 15 last year with the Cubs. Last Royals free agent who won 15 or more the previous season. So just like Hammel. Not with the Royals, but the year before the Royals signed him. Dave Holtzman has a very arrogant, cocky look on his face. Upset, he and Al Broughton, that we got yesterday's trivia question right away.
So, if we get that on the first guess today, put him in.
So that's going to retire the trivia question for the rest of the year.
Wonder how many games James Shields won before he came here. Well, that was a trade. That wasn't a free agent.
Jason Castro has come to the plate 9 times in this series. He has made 1 out. And now he's made 2 outs. He walked and scored in Minnesota's 2-run 2nd inning. That's the 6th walk he's had in this series. With 1 out in the 2nd, Hammel gave up a base hit to Sano. Castro walked. Polanco drove in a run with a single. And then Hammel, with runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out, got a ground ball double play, but it was fumbled by Mondesi, and the Royals only got 1 out, and the 2nd run scored. Slider for a strike to Polanco. Are we talking recent Royals history? Not really. Mondesi out, and he's got it. Storm Davis.
Designated hitter number 20, ROSARIO.
No.
Mike Boddicker. Sorry, Bob.
Ball went to Rosario. Rosario's the one that hit the ground ball. That looked like an inning double play. So ended up with an RBI. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, Rosie, good hitter.
Two and 1. This will be the 70th pitch thrown by Hamill. And now 3 and 1 on Rosario with Santana on deck. Second inning really hurt his pitch count, throwing 30 to 7 hitters. And a walk. Wow. Our new producer, Kevin Seegergren, he doesn't mess around. We don't get any time to think about it here. Well, he's heard of our reputation, so.
Oh, I got it. Okay, David Cone. Ah. All right, guys.
Kind of a trick question. That's a tough one. It's a legitimate question, but it's easy to forget that David Cone left and came back to the Royals.
Well, that's why how he
it was a good one.
Thought he could slip it by us.
Danny Santana singled in the second inning on a 1-2 pitch. And that matches the number of hits that he had against the Royals last year. He was 1 for 28 against the Royals in 2016.
I don't think there was any Twins that had any good numbers except for Dozier against us last year. So far, it's hasn't worked that way this year. Minnesota's been good.
Salvy's a little concerned. Going to go out and have a chat with Hamill. It's a cold day. It's a windy day. And on one hand, you think the advantage goes to the pitcher because the hitters are so uncomfortable and their hands are cold. But it can be tough on the pitcher, too. The ball will feel very slick. And Hamill is going to his mouth quite a bit with the fingertips on his throwing hand after every pitch. So maybe he's not quite getting the grip that he wants. Rosario runs. And it's a strike. So a stolen base without a throw.
You know, it's important to move your guys and run them, especially if you have the ability with sinker ballers going. You know, there's going to be a lot of contact on the ground. But with 2 outs, I think Mahler just wanted to get him in scoring position.
3 and 1. Dozier's on deck. Full count. And Hamill really needs to get Santana to swing the bat right here and put the ball in play. You are really tempting fate walking the 8 and 9 hitters and bringing Brian Dozier to the plate.
Yeah, I don't want to lose him with a walk, that's for sure. A little knee-high outside corner pitch here on the. It's got some of the plate.
Got him to chase one out of the strike zone. So Dozier is on deck as the Twins leave Rosario at second base. Easy with the Royals on May 5th against the Indians on Zubaz Palooza night. This exclusive theme ticket includes a pair of Royals-themed Zubaz pants and a seat for the game. You must purchase the Zubaz tickets online. That's at Royals.com/theme tickets. So you can't just show up and get your Zubaz. You got to purchase the ticket online, the theme ticket online at Royals.com/theme tickets.
And they're nice. Uh-oh. There you go.
Salvador Perez with another home run at Target Field. This one's into the second deck. After lining out to deep left in the second inning, Salvador Perez gets the Royals on the board here in the 5th.
That's what I'm talking about. And Moose had the same idea, except his pitch wasn't where he wanted, but the first ball swinging. Salvi now, second time up that he swung at the first pitch. So he connected on that one. And that's exactly what they want to do. Get him before he gets you. And there it was, a sinker that didn't sink, knee high. Ball was tattered and battered.
That is the 11th career home run for Salvador Perez in this ballpark, and he has the highest slugging percentage of anybody, Twins or visiting player, in this stadium's history.
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah, do the shakes, the handshakes, all looking good. The Royals are on the board.
One and two on Brandon Moss. Remember the old Spike Lee, Michael Jordan commercials? It's got to be the shoes. For Salvi, it's got to be the hair.
Yeah,
right.
It's colorful.
Gibson comes back and gets a strikeout against Moss. It's 5 for Gibson. 4 of the 5 have been with his slider.
Right fielder number 16, Paulo Orlando.
So that's a bit of a relief in the Royals dugout. They're still down by 1, but in the first 4 innings against Gibson today, they had no runs on 1 hit. And only had 2 base runners in the first 4 innings. Paulo was a strikeout victim in the second, swinging at that Gibson slider. He is 1 for 8 with an RBI to begin the year. Gibson is at just 61 pitches in 4 1/3 innings. It's only 3 games, but Minnesota's biggest problem last year was on the mound. They were last in the American League in ERA, home runs allowed, opponents' batting average, and they had the fewest quality starts. So if they're going to do anything this year, the turnaround is going to have to begin on the mound. And it's only 3 games, but so far so good. Minnesota pitching, who, by the way, the Twins had a 6.1 ERA against the Royals last year. 6 ERA the whole season series, but so far they've allowed 3 runs on 9 hits in this entire series. 3 and 1 on Paulo.
Yep, they've been executing both the starting pitching and their bullpen.
The Royals averaged 6.5 runs per game against the Twins last year. And now Paulo's on with 1 out. That's Gibson's second walk.
1 out, great time for a hit and run. Kyle Gibson is a ground ball pitcher. You want to move the runners. Like Lorenzo Cain last inning, Haas was up, he hit into a double play. I thought maybe Ned could turn the runners loose a little bit and let them run, move them. Especially with Kyle Gibson and his ground ball ability and the double plays he rolls up. Let's see if Paulo's on the run here.
Slide step, and Escobar is trying to bunt.
You know, with no disrespect to Mondesi, who's on deck, you can almost treat this as though Mondesi's in the pitcher spot. And Escobar, for him to bunt is just to move a runner up. Okay, you want him to hit a double, knock him in.
There you go, Hud. Good call. Santana plays the bounce well, and Mike Jershely has to hold Paulo. And now Paulo comes to the plate as the throw went to second. So Santana was just assuming that the run was going to score. So he threw to second. And at first, Paulo Orlando was going to hold until the throw went to second base.
That's what we're talking about. Get back to Royals baseball. Move the runners and drive the ball.
Number 27,
Esky, forget the bunt. Little slider that hung, saying, hit me off the wall. He did. Santana, good throw, but, you know, not going to be able to get Paulo. Now, Paulo changing gears quickly. Look at how he stripped down back to second gear and first gear and took off again. And the throw by Dozier was way off. He didn't have his feet underneath him and caught him by surprise, and that's Royals baseball.
So Esky gets his first hit. He gets his first RBI. And now Mondesi takes inside. Mondesi struck out in the third inning.
Hey, what up? Go.
Inside 2-0.
That's the way compete. Outfield and infield basically straight up for Mondesi. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Got him in a good hitter's count. First base is open. Left-handed batter Gordon on deck. Gonna get a pitch to hit.
Probably not the pitch he wanted on 2-0. Craig Breslow warms up in the Minnesota bullpen as Gibson's at 70 pitches. Shallow center field. So Gibson was able to avoid solid contact in a hitter's count. 2 down.
Left fielder Alex Gordon.
First 2 games of this series, the Royals had 1 extra base hit. That was Mike Moustakas' home run in the 4th inning on Monday. Now they have 2 extra base hits, and they've tied the game in the 5th inning. Salvador Perez opened the inning with a home run, and Escobar has an RBI double as Alex chases a slider down and out of the strike zone. Gibson has struck him out twice, swinging at that slider in the 1st inning and then looking at a fastball in the 3rd.
You know, Alex was hoping fastball was coming there. Now, I don't know if they're going to give Alex a fastball to hit since he's ahead now in the count. And look at all the multiple fingers that Castro's putting down the runner in scoring position.
Dozier on the right side gets Alex, and that's the inning. The Royals tie it. Salvador Perez set the tone. That was the first pitch of the inning, his 11th home run in this building. 3 batters later, Escobar's double ties it. Perez. He added to that with his leadoff home run. So we're all square. Top of the order for Minnesota. Third time through against Jason Hammel. Flips a breaking ball for a strike. Hammel's given up 2 runs, 4 hits. Both runs for Minnesota scored in the second. And back comes Minnesota. Ryan Dozier with a leadoff single. Remember, you can cheer on Alex Gordon on Thursdays in his special fan section, Gordo Nation. For only $35, you get a seat in left field, a limited edition Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt, and an Alex Gordon big head. For tickets, go to royals.com/theme tickets. And if you're wondering about the first Gordo Nation, coming up on the first homestand, it'll be the 13th. A week from today against the Oakland A's. Night game, 7:15. Royals have the A's, the Angels, and the Giants on the first homestand of the year. Max Kepler is lined to center field. Lost a hit on a running play by Lorenzo CAIN, and he's singled to center field. Dozier runs, and the throw to second is not in time. Alcides Escobar points to the Royals dugout. He wants Bill Duplessis to take a look at that.
Hey, it's good to get Billy in the game. Now, Dozier looked like he got his left hand in there on just from what I saw. But what do I know? We got replay and they see a lot.
Off the bat?
I don't know. They see a lot. Okay. Looked to me like his left hand beat it, but did he come up off of that base with his left hand? I don't know.
Royals are not going to challenge.
Yeah.
And now Kepler into right field, and Paulo, it's off the wall. Dozier to third. He's going to be waved home, and the Twins come right back and regain the lead. First time Max Kepler has had more than one hit in a game against the Royals. 3-2 Minnesota.
Yep, being aggressive. Hammel with a pitch looked like to me it was up. Ball hit about the lower third of the wall. It was up. It was a fastball up and out over. Kepler, who's got good power, just ran Paulo out of room there. And Paulo kept going with his glove up. Might have been able to catch it, but you know, when you're going full speed towards a wall, you know, sometimes, you know, you don't want to crash into that wall, so you're going to pull a parachute out, and he did.
And he's also running into the shadows, too. So, I mean, what he's seeing when he looks up into the sky changes. You really have to trust your feet that you're touching dirt on the warning track and you're not about to run into the wall.
Yeah, on contact, it sounded good. Plus, with that wind helping push it out there, I'm surprised it didn't go up higher on the wall. But still, again, taking advantage of a Hammel miscue that was up in the zone, and he got it. Now, perfect route. You see, he takes a direct line to it, but then ball beat him to the wall.
Buxton has showed bunt, and he was swinging away. Now he's swinging away again, and he's down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 85 pitches for Hammel. Travis Wood gets a throw in the Royals bullpen. Joe Mauer, left-hand batters on deck. Then a right-hand hitter, Sano. Then another left-hand batter, Castro. CAIN coming up. He's got it.
First baseman, Joe Mauer.
So Kepler at second for Mauer. Looks like if ready for Jason Castro. Bauer's 0 for 2 today, 1 for 8 in the series with an RBI. Over the outside for strike 1. To center field, but CAIN is right there. Kepler tried to run back and tag, but CAIN got it to Escobar quickly. 2 down. And if Hamill can get out of this, I mean, he's allowed a run already to give Minnesota the lead back. But after the Kepler double, Minnesota had a runner at second base and nobody out. Kepler is still at second base now with 2 down.
Yeah, you know, Buxton, the number 3 hitter, obviously he's gotten off to a slow start. They're going to put Sano on without even throwing pitches now. Just put 4 out there, and he's going to first to give him a force at any base. But you know, Buxton, when it was count got to 0-2, you would like to have seen him try to hit the ball to the right side. But you know, he's a number 3 hitter, and you want him to drive runs in. So you know, he took a shot, but Lorenzo Cain ran it down. So one thing that the Twins weren't able to do there, but that's the first time that they haven't been able to execute in the whole 3 games. They've been really good.
Now, as Sano was being told to go to first base with the no-pitch intentional walk, Jason Castro was just getting to the on-deck circle. Missed a slider, and we were talking at dinner or lunch today with members of the Royals or the Twins front office. Paul Molitor does not like the non-pitch intentional walk for a few reasons. One of them is that when the Royals put Dozier on opening day, the on-deck hitter was not ready.
Right. Interesting. No one thought about that except for maybe the Hall of Famer. Tester.
And Alex is there, so it could have been worse. Minnesota retakes the lead, but Minnesota had a runner at second with nobody out and could not add to the lead. Tested is George Burgard from Blue Springs. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, George wins $300. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, George wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. And George, you've got Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, and Eric Hosmer coming up. After that, Salvador Perez, who has homered against Kyle Gibson today, and Brandon Moss. Gibson allowed just one hit to the Royals in the first 4 innings. And then the Royals scored 2 on 2 extra base hits and a walk in the 5th inning. And then the Twins just got a run in the bottom of the 5th to regain the lead. Mike Moustakas has flied to right and singled to right.
I guarantee you Moose is hunting that fastball.
Into the right field corner, deep, gone, and Mike Moustakas has hit his 2nd home run of the year, and the Royals tie the game again. Mike Moustakas has homered in 2 of the 3 games of the series.
All right, hey, look, the Moose is loose again. Early count hacking. Now, I'm not sure that was the sinker. It could have been a changeup, and it looked like it when it left his hand, but still, it was a sinker at the bottom part of the strike zone. It's going to be changeup, and Moose waited on it and pulled out his 3-iron.
And Gibson threw Moustakas a lot of changeups in the first 2 at-bats. I wonder if that's what he was sitting on.
Yeah, obviously.
Because he was not off balance on that swing at all.
No, he waited that extra click.
So congratulations to George Burgard. $300 is on its way from Sonic and the Royals to Blue Springs, and the Sonic Slam inning continues. Pot goes back to $100. He's got a chance to win some more money in this inning.
Way to go, George. And way to go, Moose. George thanks you. Just got to get some runners out there. Where's that 3-run bomb when you need it? Coming up.
Going to be a tough play. And Gibson can't pick it up cleanly.
Oh yeah, here we go. Now, when the Royals are clicking on all cylinders, obviously they haven't for 2 games and a half. Okay. That turns into a rally. That is a Royals rally right there. That little topper right there. After following the bomb, oh man! And Gibson, there's no chance he had. He could have put that in his pocket anyway. He picks it up, and I knew that was it. With that lefty, a sidewinding lefty out in that bullpen with Haas coming up, that's it for Gibson.
So Gibson's out. 2 of the next 3 hitters coming up for the Royals are left-hand hitters. So Craig Breslow is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Home run, and now Lorenzo Cain's at first base with nobody out. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Royals. No blackouts. So 36-year-old Craig Breslow comes on with CAIN at first. And Eric Hosmer coming up. Breslow's bounced around in a long career, spending 15 games with the Marlins last year. Out of Yale. Drafted by the Brewers in '02, released, signed by the Padres out of independent baseball for $1 in 2005.
How about that? Sidewinder. He's probably in for this one hitter. Matter of fact, I would almost guarantee Molly's not going to leave him in to face Salvi. So he's going to break that big curveball away from him. He's got kind of like a 3/4 sidearm delivery. Not overpowering, obviously. At his age, he's going to try to finesse and get Haas to swing over the top of it. And, you know, he's got a decent move over there, going to keep Locaine close. Now, if Lorenzo does steal, he's going to go on first movement. Minute Breslow picks up his foot, he's off to the races. With nobody out here, might wait on and see if he hangs one to Haas.
2-0 on Hosmer.
But he's awfully quick home. So maybe not the best time to try to steal. Lorenzo Cain, he's looking over there at Rusty Kuntz, who's in charge of the base running. Outfield and center. Now they're moving over to left center.
Shot into center field. That's Hosmer's second hit. Second hit of the series, that is. And now 2 on with nobody out. And as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Oh, he threw it and it was loud. Short, compact. How about the balance? Just absolutely love the balance.
His 11th home run in this ballpark.
He's leaving him in. I'm a little bit shocked. He had a righty ready to go out there in the pen.
That's a tough angle for a left-hand batter, although Hosmer had a really good swing, but right-hand batter gets a nice look at it. He had trouble with lefties last year. That's a surprise. And righties hit .333, but he faces a lot more lefties than he does right-hand batters.
He sure does. That last pitch there, Salvi, you'd like to have that one back. Molitor had Ryan Presley up and ready, and Presley's out there looking in saying, wow, I thought you might come get me. Molly's taking a chance here.
Hoping that Breslow can get Salvador Perez, setting up Breslow and Moss. Got underneath it.
Just missed it.
Santana makes the catch, so that paid off for Paul Molitor and the Twins. And now Brandon Moss comes to the plate.
It did, and when you're ahead in the series and already got the series 2-0, you can afford to do that. Fox Tracks and Missouri Lottery tell you, oh, that was a good spot for Salvi, and he just got under it. Key for Brandon Moss here off of Breslow is to not try to pull him. Wait, stay inside the ball, or you're going to hit a ground ball to Dozier, and they're going to roll you up into a double play. So he's going to throw that breaking ball to him. And when you try to pull that, you're either going to swing over the top of it or hit a little ground ball. So let's be patient here. Be patient. Think middle of the field, and then react if it's up. If it elevates and he misses it, then you can get it. Gee, he can't go up there trying to turn and burn. It'll backfire on him. Hosmer at first base is getting a big lead, and his eyes are not moving off of Lorenzo Cain. He's keeping his eye on Cain with a big lead. You can see Mauer hits in back of him over here. He's not paying any attention to him, but Haas is waiting. If Lorenzo goes, he'll go.
Hey, Jason.
Haas has a little bit of experience against Breslow.
Breslow, when he first came in the big league, he never threw sidearm like this. This is an adjustment he's made over the years. Good swing there by Moss. He stayed inside the ball. But Breslow, you know, at one time he stayed over the top, threw a lot harder like we all did when we were younger. But then he dropped down. He started using 2 and 4 seam fastballs. That drop down angle kind of helped him get a little bit more movement, a little deception on the ball.
Paulo Orlando is on deck and will most likely face Presley. Royals are just 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this series. Moss takes the walk, and they're loaded up for Paulo Orlando.
And now he's going to come and get him. But I guarantee you, had the Royals been up 2-0 in this series, he would have taken Breslow out facing Salvi. But you know, like I said, he 2-0 lead. He's got a little time. He's going to let the veteran settle in, but that's it.
Presley is another Chevy call to the bullpen to face Paulo Orlando with the bases loaded, 1 out. They've tied it at 3, and now I'm giving him a chance to qualify for a win. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is back with better picture quality than ever before. Watch every out-of-market game live at home, in the office, or on the go. Blackout restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Ryan Presley came on in a blowout game yesterday. Came on with 1 out in the 8th inning. Faced 2 and struck out 2. A little different situation here. Bases loaded, 1 out, tie game, and facing Paulo Orlando.
Facing a guy like Ryan Presley. Good fastball right over the top. Got a good slider and a curve. Got some experience, wants to come in with strike one, and that's sometimes the best pitch to hit. Be ready. Nope. Paulo used a majority of the center of the field last year. Here it is. Check it out. If you don't believe me, there it is. We have it all. 55 knocks up the middle. Great focus for that right there, especially with one out. You stay out of the double play by trying to stay inside that baseball. You try to pull it, you try to get the top end on it, you hit ground balls. Don't want that.
Good swing. Fastball down at 95. Mentioned the Royals so far are 1 for 8 in this series with a runner in scoring position. Paulo Orlando had the highest batting average among the Royals last year in that category. He had 314 with runners at second and or third. By, as we say so often in this game, not trying to do too much.
Right, but this is what the Royals need, a big hit.
2-1.
And like you said, not trying to do too much, so make him come to you. Stay short, compact, and deliver like you can.
That grand slam we'll never forget. That was a walk-off grand slam against the Tampa Bay Rays. First game of a day-night doubleheader.
He'll never forget it.
Just out in front. Two and two. Presley was throwing a wicked hard breaking ball yesterday. Got both of his strikeouts with that pitch. CAIN at third. Representing the go-ahead run. HOSMER at second. Moss is at first.
This is where you really compete.
Off the end of the bat, and Buxton comes up to make the play. Buxton has a strong arm. CAIN got kind of caught in between there. There's really no fault of his. I don't know even if CAIN goes back, if Mike Jersley tells him to tag. That wasn't hit very deep.
No, and with Buxton's momentum coming in and possessing a strong throwing arm, I think they're going to let Esky take a chance on that. But Locaine was already down the line and didn't get back in time. Right idea by Paulo.
Escobar tied the game at 2 with an RBI double last inning. Up and in. No balls and 1 strike. I'm going to chase one out of the strike zone. Boy, Escobar likes facing this pitcher.
Triple would be a beautiful thing for him here. Hosmer at second base can get a big lead. There's nobody near him, so in case he does sneak one through the infield, he can score. He's got a big lead.
On the ground to Polanco. So the Royals tie it on the Moustakas home run. So it's 3-3, and the Twins were able to pitch out of the bases loaded, 1 out. twice in this 3-game series. His home run in the top of the 6th inning tied the game at 3. Pinera takes us around the league. They are playing in Chicago. That's news after a couple of postponements already. Later on, Angels at the A's, Blue Jays at the Rays, and then Houston, whom the Royals will face beginning tomorrow night. They've got a chance to begin the season with a 4-game sweep over the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier for the Royals either.
2-0 on Jorge Polanco, lower third, coming up against Hamill, Polanco, Rosario, and Santana. And Hamill's at 92 pitches.
Royals could have used a big hit down the bottom of that order. That inning, bases loaded. Gapper would have been nice. Give Hamill a little breathing room. But they're in the game. Hamill's keeping them in there too. Doing a good job mixing up his pitches. Not staying with that 2-seam fastball, using some more sliders.
Leadoff walk. And that's 4 for Hamill. And that's how his day will finish. Left-hand hitting Eddie Rosario is coming up, and Travis Wood is coming in. To you by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Panera Bread, Panera caters for every group, every size, every meal. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Kansas City Royals. Jason Hamill goes 5+ innings, gives up 6 hits, 3 runs. He walked 4, struck out 2. He's responsible for the runner at first base. And now Travis Wood is into the game for the first time since opening day, when he gave up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. And he misses low to Eddie Rosario. The Royals are ready for that bunt, by the way. Moustakas is way in at third. And Hosmer, who was holding Polanco as Wood delivered the pitch, he came running in.
Wood 87-92 with his fastball. He'll cut it into righties, curve, change, slider. He's got all 4. Works both sides of the plate, like to get ahead.
Travis Wood came on with the bases loaded in game 1 and walked 2. Walked Joe Mauer and Miguel Sano with the bases loaded on Monday. And now he's 3-0 against Eddie Rosario, who has reached with a walk today, and he has an RBI grounding into a force out. Over the inside, strike 1.
Those walks that he had in game 1 were unusual for him. He said it was a combination of a little bit of nerves, a little bit of jitters, you know, a little bit trying too hard, combination of all that. I talked to him. He said that he likes to challenge hitters, let them put the ball in play, but he works both sides of the corners. Tries to stay out of the middle. Had to come in there 3-0. Now we'll see here if Molitor puts the bunt back on.
Moustakas to the Royals dugout. Didn't quite get it.
That would have been a nice out. He did everything he could. Checked the rail, knew exactly where he was, and just off the end of his glove.
Snap throw. Polanco did not have a big lead. Bills are expecting him to take off here with the count 3 balls, 2 strikes. Not going. And another chance for Moustakas. And that's well back into the seats.
Watching Wood, how he starts very close. I mean, his stance is closed when he's getting a sign from South and he's looking ahead, closes it off, shows the ball behind his back, but really comes right over the top with his arm action. It's almost like there's hardly any bend in his elbow.
Back-to-back walks to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Now need a ground ball and a double play, and every time the Royals turn a double play, the next day McDouble sandwiches are only $1 at McDonald's. That's all season long. Royals talk bug defense with Danny Santana coming up. Santana's going to have a little chat with Gene Glenn, his third base coach.
Yeah, you know, the odds of you hitting into a double play are a lot greater than getting the sack bunt down and getting the runners over. I mean, that's probably the thing to do right here. Be surprised if he's not bunting. You got Dozier coming up, even though first base is open. If they want to put him on, still loads him up, gives the Twins a better opportunity to score a run. Be shocked if he's not bunting.
Might have been a little bit of confusion on the infield there. Alcides Escobar made a move for second base, as if he was expecting a pickoff. And now Wood turns to second base, and Escobar was running to third.
Okay, so the wheel, that was what the wheel play was on there, but we saw in game 1 some interesting bunt plays that weren't executed exactly right. So the Royals look like they're a little bit rusty on these these bunt plays, not on the same page.
That's a strike. Santana either took a strike or home plate umpire Rob Drake didn't say he pulled the bat back in time.
World Baseball Classic, you know, with Escobar gone, Salvi gone, they didn't get a chance to work on a lot of these plays when they were all together. So that could be a reason why there's a little bit of rust.
Yeah, and that's another strike.
And I don't know what Santana's waiting for. He's there to bunt. He's taking 2 good pitches to bunt. Didn't have to be a good strike to bunt it. When you square around like that, you can bunt just about any pitch on the ground as long as it's not at the belt or above. Those are a little bit harder to get down on the ground, but you want an off-speed pitch, something moving down.
2-2. Polanco walked against Hamill. Rosario at first walked against Wood. Struck him out. So the inability to get the bunt down, and then a big strikeout.
Good spot, stayed down. He's got some deception in that delivery. You know, that ball's sneaky. It kind of snuck up on him, but he couldn't get the bunt down the first 2 pitches, and that was his fault. The double play is set up.
With Peter Moylan coming on to face Brian Dozier. Ball off to Travis Wood, who hands the ball off to Peter Moylan in a 3-3 tie. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. Producer Kevin Cedergren. Director Steve Kurtenbach. Associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Peter Moylan against Brian Dozier with 2 on and 1 out. And the slider's in for a strike. Moylan came on and got what we thought was a big out in the game on Monday. Minnesota had scored a run to take a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning. Moylan came on and struck out Buxton with the bases loaded. And Minnesota would go on to break that game wide open with 5 more runs. But this is a role that Moylan is used to earlier in his career with the Braves. He, along with lefty Eric O'Flaherty, they were the situational righty and lefty coming on in the middle of the inning with runners on base. Hoping to get a strikeout, ground out, pop up. Broken bat, and Alex is there in left field. So no further advance. And that'll bring up Max Kepler.
Yeah, Ned likes to bring Moylan in with that sinker slider in order to get that ground ball, but you know, that pitch there after the 2 sliders, he jammed him in. And Dozier had an idea it was coming in, but couldn't get it down and hit it right to Alex. Broke his bat, little jam shot. Moylan's reliable. He's tough. He's not, doesn't get nervous, doesn't get tight in certain situations. He's a veteran guy who knows how to execute his pitches. Keep the ball down, working it in and out.
Max Kepler is 2 for 3. He could be 3 for 3. His only out required Lorenzo Cain to run to the warning track. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, there it goes. You know, in game 1, Kepler, who's hitting now, got the bunt down, and they were able to go on and score some runs. This inning here, Danny Santana couldn't get the run down, the bunt down, and had he, that little fly ball there to Alex might have scored a run. So sometimes it's the little things that aren't done that could cost you. And now it's the 3-0 count here.
And the matchup the Royals want, I'm sure, is Moylan and Buxton, who's on deck. So I would be surprised if Moylan gave Kepler anything good to hit here. And so that's kind of the intentional walk.
Yeah, a sidewinder coming into a lefty. Lefty has a good idea and can see the ball pretty well. So you're exactly right. See if he can sweep that ball away from Buxton. Get him off balance. That's the whole key.
So a rematch here. Buxton faced Moylan with the bases loaded. And 1 out on Monday. Moylan struck him out. Now the bases loaded, 2 down today. All 3 runners on base right now walked. Polanco against Hamill, Rosario against Wood, and Kepler against Moylan. Got him to chase one down and out of the strike zone.
Got some good sink to that one. Had some late movement down. That's what he'll like to do. Come in on the right. Now he'll sweep it away. When his sinker's working the way he wants it to, it goes into the righty, and then the slider that comes away, sidearm, can be effective. It's not going to stay in, but he's quickly ahead.
Hamill started the inning. Wood came on in relief, and now Moylan. Got him again. Peter Moylan gets the job done. And the Royals work around 3 walks in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Mondesi and Gordon trying to get on for Mike Moustakas, who has already homered twice in this series. struck out Byron Buxton with the bases loaded. 3-3 tie to the 7th inning. If you'd like to host your company, family, sports team, or another group out at Kauffman Stadium for a special occasion this spring, single game suites and party areas are now available for regular season games throughout the month of April and May. Call 816-504-4040, option 4, or email groupsales@royals.com for rates and availability.
How about Peter Moylan? Excellent job. Now that was an intentional walk to Kepler so he could get to the righty, work the sinker. First pitch, sets up the slider. It's hung up there. Now that was the only good pitch he had to hit. Now Moylan put that one right where he wants it. Strike 3 and he's out. Good job by Pete Moylan.
Lefty Taylor Rogers is out of the Minnesota bullpen. Rogers pitched yesterday, 2/3 of an inning. And the first man he faced was Raul Mondesi. Mondesi lines it into right field and has his first hit of the year. And the Royals have their leadoff man on in the 7th.
There you go. Got him a batting average now. That was a nice pitch on the out half, but you know, great, a better swing though. He waited and just shot it out there, didn't try to pull it. Now he's on base with a stolen base threat.
4 straight leadoff hits for the Royals.
Rogers 88 to 92, 93 with his fastball. 2 different curveball speeds that he'll use.
The breaking ball stayed high.
Bennett looked a little flat. He's got a changeup he might feature for a righty. 2 lefties coming up with Alex and Moose. See if they can do some damage here.
Alex is 0 for 3 today. He grounded out to first against Rogers yesterday. A little bit high, 2-0. This is the first high leverage situation for the Minnesota bullpen in this series.
See that stopwatch in Rusty Kuntz's left hand? He's timing Taylor Rogers from when he comes set to when he goes home so he can have an idea how long it's going to take him. Now that's a pitch there Alex didn't think it was a strike. And he's telling Mondesi now, he's saying, all right, look, you can get this guy. He's giving him the time. He's saying, all right, if you can get a jump, go first movement. Right when he picks up his leg. Rogers hasn't thrown over yet.
Off the fist. 2-2. And if he doesn't throw over very often, you know, some lefties just don't like to throw over to first base. I guarantee the Royals are all over that scouting report.
They are, and sometimes though that can be tough. You want to see a move, but if a guy doesn't give you a move at all, now you're going, wow, you know what? I'm expecting him to throw over. It can play a little bit of reverse psychology on you. There it is. Nothing special. He's going to bend that leg. Lots of hitters will key on the lower half of the pitcher. Others just look at the whole body and they try to get a read on it. Especially the lefty, staring right at you.
And Mondesi read that one quickly.
And like any good base runner or base stealer, when you get a step or 2 off the bag, you're going to peek in. You're going to try to see the signs. If you see more than one finger down there, you know it's a breaking pitch and it's a good time to go. And you don't want to turn your head because the catcher will see you sometimes.
Delayed steal. Mondesi is in there. Alex is down on strikes, so the Royals traded out for 90 feet. And we talked about Rogers' scouting report. I imagine that's part of the Royals' scouting report as well. Be ready for the delayed steal.
It was well executed, although it could have been better if Mondesi would have taken a little bit more time on that 3rd crow hop, because Castro didn't quite drop his arm from throwing the ball back to the pitcher. So he was a little bit in a hurry, Mondesi was, but it worked because the throw was high. Scoring position, now get him in.
Sweeping breaking ball for a strike. Mike Moustakas has 2 hits today. He tied the game at 3 with a home run leading off the 6th inning.
Moose wanted that. Let's show you the bomb he hit. Second one of the season. Changeup from Kyle Gibson. Moose stuck that, man. It was nice. Kept his balance and just dropped the head on it. Got some backspin. Again, touching the ace Ventura patch.
3-pitch strikeout, all breaking balls.
That was a nice breaker there. That started way in off the plate and had Moose off balance.
Now the Twins will give their first no-pitch intentional walk. Lorenzo Cain has been a walking machine early in the series and the season. 2 walks today, a walk yesterday, and 2 walks on opening day.
First baseman Eric Hosmer.
Getting on base.
Hosmer against lefty Craig Breslow last inning, single to center field. He's 1 for 3.
Haas faced enough lefties, and he's experienced against these guys. He's going to look for something up, something that's up. It starts out around his back area, and if it starts at him like that, it's going to be hittable. But if it starts in the middle of the plate, the breaker goes away, it's off the dish. That's what a lefty looks for, a left-handed hitter off a lefty. It's all about picking up that rotation. A release point. Ooh, a little emergency hack there.
And you can imagine why. I mean, Rogers has been breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball.
And then that's a good spot really to set up the next pitch. Is be another breaker away. Could come back in on him again, but usually that inside pitch is to set up the next one. Good arms in the outfield by the Minnesota Twins. They all throw well, but Mondesi, he runs well, and he's got a base hit. He should be able to score.
One ball, 2 strikes. Eric Hosmer, a clutch performer in the regular season, especially in the postseason. In the last 2 regular seasons, only Matt Kemp has more go-ahead RBIs than Eric Hosmer among all major leaguers. Stays alive at 1-2. Matt Kemp, who's had 2 disappointing seasons, has had clutch RBIs, 63 go-ahead RBIs the last 2 years. And then Eric Hosmer was 62. So as they say, right man, right spot. Two and two.
You can get a little pattern on him, Breslow. After that last inside fastball, breaker away again. Excuse me, on Rogers.
That one got a lot at the plate. He's been trying to stay away from the lefties with that breaking ball.
That was Haas's pitch there. Now he's shortening up his swing. He's not trying to do too much with it. just wants to lay it out there, put it in play. Outfield playing him a little slightly to the opposite field. And in the infield, a slight pull. Well-placed ball could score both runs.
Hosmer just called time. And that, sometimes that's the way it goes. He called time, and that might have been the fattest breaking ball that Rogers has thrown all day. That thing, oh man, that's the one. That's the one he wanted.
Oh no!
So Rogers says, "Thank you very much." Fastball. And Polanco is going to have to hurry. And he got him. So the Royals lead 2 in the top of the 7th inning. The Royals thought about a challenge. Ned Yost says no. So stretch time in Minneapolis in a 3-3 tie. Now we go to Joel for the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile.
All right, Rhino, thank you very much. So far this game, Salvi and Moose with solo home runs. Jason Hamill in his Royals debut going 5+. And Max Kepler 2 for 3. We'll see what the bullpens do the rest of the way as the Royals look for win number 1 on the season. Out here in right field, Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And early in the season, we're seeing some really exciting finishes.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of real nice finishes last night by a couple of teams that are being expected to contend during the course of the season. First, we're going to go to Boston. Sandy Leon connects 3-run shot in the 12th inning to give the Red Sox a walk-off victory. Now we're going to have a chance to see a action from Houston, in which we're going after this ball game. George Springer, another walk-off job here, a 3-run shot. After the Mariners have taken the lead at the top, Astros come back in the bottom for the walk-off.
Pour the Gatorade. Houston is off to a great start. That was our big story in our unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Some look at undefeated teams. 5 of 6 coming from the American League. Just the Nationals left unbeaten in the NL. Indians and Astros are the only ones at 3-0. And maybe no surprise, because they are the teams expected to be contenders. And the Royals getting ready, as Monty mentioned, to head to Houston for a weekend series at Minute Maid Park. And right now, though, trying to get out of here with a victory and a happy birthday to the Hall of Famer Burt Blyleven. Rhino, he hasn't milked that at all today, has he?
No, not at all. Not at all. 66 years old. Burt Blyleven, longtime television broadcaster for the Minnesota Twins. Longtime Minnesota Twins pitcher. And has some of the best career numbers of any pitcher all time against the Royals. Celebrating his birthday today. Mike Minor comes on for the 3rd time in this series. So Ned Yost used him for an inning on Monday, another inning yesterday, and now on today. He's only allowed a walk in his 2 innings of work. It'll be Mauer, Sano, and Castro, 2 of the 3 batters coming up hitting left-handed. Upstairs to Mauer, who's 0 for 3.
Minor 90-95 with his fastball. Got an excellent changeup. Nice little breaking ball. Good short, compact stroke with his arm. You know, nice interview that Joel and Monty did on the Price Chopper Live pregame show today, and they had Mike Minor on, and I listened to it. But you know, some of the first comments he talked about, you know, joining the team last year and not being able to perform. He wasn't around the team a lot, but when he was, you know, we in the media weren't sure really who he was, and you know, you can just, he felt out of place. And unless you're out there contributing in some way to the team, you know, you feel like you're useless. And I understand that, having been there before myself, but he shared that last year with the Royals, and he kind of felt the way people looked at him like, you know, who are you? But they stayed patient with him, especially when you join a new organization. Nobody knew him. It's kind of an uncomfortable feeling. So now that he gets his chance, he says that was part of the motivating factor to get out there and show him what I can do.
And that was always part of the plan, to ease back in last year in the minor leagues and be ready for this year. There was some talk middle of last season, and if Minor came along quickly, he could help the Royals late in the year, but ended up pitching at AA and AAA. Alex had to block the sun with his glove and makes the play in fair territory, and Mauer's 0 for 4. Let's go back to Joel.
Well, a couple of things in our conversation with Mike Minor. The first is the fact that, you know, he felt like maybe in the past he just took baseball for granted. A lot of guys do. It's a great life, but he said he'd been out of it now, at least pitching in the big leagues for so long. He feels like early in the season, even into May, June, he wants to really enjoy this every single day. Also pointed out this whole relieving thing, very new to him, and so he's still getting his feet wet as far as that goes. Going harder than he can remember.
Well, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Guy going to the bullpen and you bear down for an inning or two, and you're not thinking about pacing yourself for 5, 6, 7 innings, and you get the best stuff out of that pitcher. Miguel Sano has his second hit. He's on for the 3rd time. Mike Minor, by the way, only had 1 major league relief appearance before this year, and only 1 minor league relief appearance before this year.
Yeah, well, you know, at least he's able to keep Sano in the ballpark. That's big. Tough game, close game here again. Yeah, but you know what? Also, you know, when I listened to what Joel was talking about there, you know, you stay out of the game a couple years, and you're like, wow, you know what? I mean, game's passing me by, and you never know when I get another chance. And you know, it's good to smell the roses. And realize that we're all day to day, and tomorrow's not guaranteed. So it gives you an extra perspective as you come to a big league ballpark. Having a thankful heart and being ready to do whatever you can do to be a good teammate. And to perform like he is. Got a nice fastball. He's been a bright spot so far early.
Ooh, Castro hits it to the gap. He's had a big series. Sano will be waved home, and Jason Castro gives Minnesota a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, he hit that in the right spot to score Sano, who's not fleet of foot. I mean, it took its time getting out there. It was like a little slider that just stayed up right over the middle of the plate. 90, slider at 90, and you can see Lorenzo Cain had it play into the opposite field, so by the time they got to it, Sano, who got a good break on it and left on contact, didn't hesitate at all in the inside part of the base. Looks like he's moving pretty good around the bases. It's no problem.
Jason Castro has come to the plate 12 times in this series and reached 9 times.
Hotter than that.
Polanco grounds it past Moustakas. It is the bottom of the 7th inning, by the way. For the Minnesota Twins, all they've done in this series is score 14 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, Polanco switch hitter getting a chance to see Minor taking advantage of a pitch that was hittable. Moose did all he could. And fully extended. Twins continuing to pressure.
Rosario drove in a run in the second inning when he hit into a force out. He has walked twice and stolen a base. Twins scored 6 runs in the 7th inning on Monday. They scored 6 runs in the 7th inning yesterday, and now they have 2 in the 7th inning today. So much for 7 being a lucky number.
Yeah.
Well, it is for the Twins.
It is.
Had a play, and now it's 0-2. Backs out after Minor and Salvi are not on the same page. Off of Salvi's glove. Just outside. Salvi tried to frame it, bring it back into the strike zone. 1-2 on Rosario. Jason Hamill went 5. He allowed 3. Travis Wood 1/3 of an inning. Peter Moylan 2/3 of an inning. And now Minor in the 7th. Fastball threw it by him.
Come on, Danny. Danny, how about a real up bat here, huh? Real one, let's go.
Okay, he just reared back and put a good spot on there. Off the plate. Yeah. You can tell he's saying, I'm going to get you here, and he did. And then, you know, the ability to add and subtract from 90 to 95, that's a good change of speeds on that fastball.
Tough hop. Moustakas comes up with it, and that's the inning. But the Minnesota Twins again rally in the bottom of the 7th inning. Royals are down by 2 to the 8th. Royals were down early 2-0, and then Salvador Perez homered in the 5th. Royals added another run to tie it at 2. Minnesota regained the lead, and then Mike Moustakas in the 6th inning homered. So that made it a 3-3 tie. And then the Minnesota Twins. Jason Castro, 12 plate appearances. He's reached 9 times. He drove in the first run in the 7th inning with a double. And then Jorge Polanco drove in Castro with his double. And the Minnesota Twins have scored 14 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning alone in this series. And now they hand the lead to Matt Belisle in the 8th. The Royals have not scored a run yet against the Minnesota bullpen.
They're gonna leave here. Oh!
Santana into the corner, into the seats.
Oh. Hold your breath on that. I wasn't sure if it's going to stay fair or not, but Salvi again trying to ambush. They can't get swept here. They got to get to this bullpen. They've got to find a way. Belisle, 89-92, sinking fastball, slider change. Pick one out, get on base. There you go.
Wide open on the right side. You know, if you don't know where the defense is and you're just watching that on your screen, you're thinking, why is he swinging at that pitch? I mean, look for a pitch to drive, but he saw you could have played a football game in between the first and second baseman on the right side.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's exactly what you do. I mean, Salvi aggressive. Just the second pitch he's seen. The head position, I like that. See, that's a booty knock right there. I like to call that. Backside falls out. Keep your head position on there, right there, and just go with the pitch. Get some runners on and get a big hit.
So far, the Minnesota bullpen has combined to pitch 8 scoreless innings in this series. Almost got Brandon Moss on the thigh. Brandon is grounded to second, struck out, and walked. Fastball at 90, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That little gale there would help. Just get a little pop-up up. It'll fly here. That's nice. That's about 15 to 20.
Into one of many empty seats. 39,600 here on opening day, and that dropped down to a paid attendance of 15,100 yesterday, and about the same here today. Belisle pitched a scoreless 8th inning on Monday and 2/3 scoreless yesterday. Two and two. Minnesota bullpen last season had the highest ERA in the league. They threw the most innings, so they wore down at the end of the year. They also gave up the most home runs of any bullpen in the league. Still 2-2 on Moss.
Now, you know, they got a few new arms in there, and they made some adjustments. So far, so good.
Belisle spent last year with the Nationals, pitching in 40 games and had a 1.76 ERA.
Breslow's the lefty they brought in. Got the rookie, Justin Haley. Tonkin was here last year, Michael Tonkin. Kensler's a new closer. They're trying to make some moves.
1 out.
Right fielder Paulo Orlando.
I think Brandon's just a little bit anxious.
One on, one out to Paulo. Royals are not picking up that slider. Paulo walked with one out in the 5th inning. Scored on a double by Escobar that tied the game at 2. Minnesota took the lead. And the bottom of the 5th inning, 3-2. The Royals tied it in the 6th. And the Twins just scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th. That's through a wide open right side.
That's how you hit a slider. And where you hit it. Salvi and now Paulo. Shorten up the swing and go with the pitch. Okay, now actually that was a fastball at 91, but Paulo, a great idea though. See how he kept his hands inside of that ball and just shot it over there to right.
So that'll bring up Escobar, 1 for 3 with an RBI double. He faced Belial in each of the first 2 games of the series, and both times Belial struck him out with his slider.
We'll see if he can show some plate discipline here and lay off of those pitches there and wait for his. First hit of the year he got was a nice one. Good clean double.
1-1. Should be easy for Buxton. 2 down. And now Mondesi, 1 for 3. Had 2 different approaches, it seems, against Belial. Got Perez and Orlando looking for something away and going the other way, and Moss and Escobar looking for a pitch up that they can elevate and drive to a gap or farther. Mondesi had a good swing and fouled it back to the screen.
That's right. Take what they give you. Don't try to do too much. Even though the Royals have more power this year, let's not forget the Royal way of bunching a bunch of base hits and frenzy style hitting, man. Getting them going. Keeping the line moving.
Got the call. Didn't hit the target, but he got the call. As I said, he got the call.
Yeah, that looked off the plate. Now he's going to try to get him a swing at a bad ball.
And that skips away from Castro, so a base hit now could tie the game. Salvi goes to third, and Paulo up to second base on the wild pitch. strikes out 2. The Royals get 2 hits. They leave 2 in scoring position. 5-3 Minnesota to the bottom of the 8th. Just 3 outs to go on offense. And then the Royals will head to Houston. The Astros play tonight. They're already 3-0. Jason Vargas will make his season debut tomorrow night against Mike Fiers. How about Saturday night? Danny Duffy and Dallas Keuchel. And then Nathan Carnes and Lance McCullers on Sunday. The Royals will not see Colin McHugh. Our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. McHugh opened the season on the disabled list with a sore right shoulder. He's given the Royals a bad time in the past, so they will not see him. But they will see Fiers, Keuchel, and McCullers. Joakim Soria will get the bottom of the 8th inning, and he'll get the top of the Minnesota order. Outside to Dozier. Soria is making his season debut. A rough return to Kansas City last year in 70 games. One ball, one strike. And he was asked in spring training this year if he has forgotten what happened last year and ready for a brand new season. And his answer was, I have. Have you? 2 balls and 1 strike. So that's his way of saying he doesn't want to talk about last year anymore.
No, you know, he's been on a tremendous roll. To have 1 bad season in 10 years is pretty good. I had a bad year every year. I mean, he's good. You know what? I'm hoping the best for him. They need him desperately this year. Now, velocity last year was not a problem. We even saw some 96. There was some 95 right there. He's got a firm fastball, an excellent little slider, big loop and curve at times, and he just can hit his spots and gain some confidence. An early start is important for him. A good early start.
Foul by Dozier. Ryan Dozier is 1 for 4 today with a run scored. The Royals have kept him in the ballpark in this series. He hit 11 home runs against the Royals last year, including a home run at one point in 6 consecutive games against the Royals. Blew him away with a fastball at 95.
The right-hander, Max Kepler.
Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com to get free Aquafina when the Royals get a save. Not been as much cheering for the Royals as some of the fans anticipated. Coming up north I-35 to watch the Royals and the Twins, especially with the way the Royals have treated the Twins in recent years. Two times over the span of 4 years, the Royals went 15-4 against the Twins. That's the most wins the Royals have ever had against one team in a single season, and they did it twice against one team in 4 years.
Yeah, Minnesota turning the tables though early this year.
Kepler lines it to right field, and Paulo is there. In the ninth, the Royals will have the top of the order. Brandon Kintzler is warming up in the Minnesota bullpen, getting ready for his first save opportunity. Gordon, Moustakas, and CAIN. Buxton takes low. Buxton is 1 for 14 in the series with 7 strikeouts. And it's still a game right now because of a huge strikeout Peter Moylan got against Buxton in the 6th inning. Royals walked 3 in that inning to load the bases. Moylan facing Buxton with the bases loaded 2 down, struck him out. It's the second time in the series Moylan has come on to strike out Buxton with the bases loaded. 2-1. Two and two. Full count with Joe Mauer on deck. Here's Brandon Kintzler. And Buxton is on with 2 down. Seven walks for the Royals today. So that makes 23 walks in the 3-game series. The difference today is that only one of those walks has come around to score. In the first 2 games of the series, the Twins walked 16 times and 9 came around to score. Mauer takes low. He's 0 for 4.
Yep, Dave Eiland will tell you that's too many. And all he's doing is trying to talk to those pitchers about just focus and strike one, get ahead of hitters and finish them off, and don't try to toy around with them and mess with your second and third pitches and go right after them. Minnesota's done a good job of capitalizing on getting some timely hits. The Royals haven't had a lot of hits with runners in scoring position themselves. Have 3 runs today, but so far that's not going to be enough.
other thing that may have affected Soria somewhat mentally last year, remember early in the season, umpires were calling balks on him and saying that he wasn't coming to a complete stop. So that was just one more thing for him to think about. And I'm watching him here, and very borderline if the umpires would choose to pick on him not coming set. I mean, if he's coming set, he is barely coming set.
Yeah, he's coming home quickly. That's a good point, because you know sometimes it can be the littlest things that can throw you off.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about the hitter, you're thinking about the game on the line. The last thing you want to think about, you know, am I coming set?
It happened fairly early in the season too. All three of them. He finally started coming to a stop, but you're right. Sometimes that can play a mental factor. But I think he'll just tell you, you know, he left too many pitches out over the plate at the wrong time. And it's a new year.
He strikes out 2 and keeps it a 2-run game.
Oh, that's behind. Let's go. Good for finish.
Gordon, Moustakas, who's homered, and CAIN coming up in the 9th. Coming up, Minnesota is hoping for a 3-game sweep. Right after the game, Joel and Monty have Boulevard Royals Live. Jason Hamill made his Royals debut today. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. Royals hit 2 home runs today. Mike Moustakas hit his 2nd of the series. Salvador Perez with another home run here at Target Field. That and more. Clubhouse reaction coming up with Joel and Monty after the game. Brandon Kintzler with his first save opportunity. Last year he was 17 out of 20 in save chances. He pitched the 9th inning of game 1, but he came on with a 6-run lead, and he got the top of the order. Gordon, Moustakas, and CAIN.
All right, now they saw from Kintzler a sinking fastball, 90 to 94, slider changeup. Try to keep that ball down and let it sink. Use the defense if you can.
Down and away to Alex. 0 for 4 today. 3 for 3 against Kintzler, and that includes an infield single here on Monday afternoon. Very high, and it's Buxton into right center field. 1 down. This is not a guy who was born to be a closer. Brandon Kintzler was a 40th round draft pick by the Brewers 13 years ago out of Dixie Junior College in Utah. which I don't think is on the short list of college baseball powerhouses.
Right.
He lasted a couple of years with the Padres and was released, and then he spent 3 years playing independent baseball, non-affiliated baseball. Signed by the Brewers in 2009 out of the Northern League. He's not very big, doesn't throw really hard, but here he is, a big league closer, Brandon Kintzler for the Twins in 2017.
Yeah, you know, had a decent spring, gained the confidence from his skipper. With Glenn Perkins, their longtime closer, still shoulder still ailing, he gave him the job.
No swing, 2-1 on Moustakas. Moustakas homered on Monday afternoon, and he homered today. Also has a single. He grounded into a double play in his at-bat against Kintzler on Monday. Three and one. CAIN has been on base 3 times today. Waiting on deck after him, Eric Hosmer. Hit well to center field, but Buxton is right there. It has been 10 years since the Minnesota Twins began the season 3-0. It has been 16 years since the Royals have started the season 0-3. Strike to Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo has walked 5 times in the series, 2 more today. He also has an infield single. Lorenzo grounded out to short against Kintzler on Monday. That ended the game. 0-2.
Well, I had no idea that we were going to see a Royals team that was not clicking on any cylinders. Forget about all cylinders. They'll have to regroup, and it's not going to get any easier. So they can get a little something going with 2 outs here.
Just need 1 runner for a chance. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I thought they looked pretty good in spring training overall. And it's still, I mean, it's a lot of time. I mean, we got the whole season left. It's just Hollander's kid. Yeah, his players ready.
Minnesota Twins sweep the 3-game series. So Paul Molitor's team lost 103 games last year, and they began the season 0-9. This year they begin the year 3-0, and it's a little sweeter taking down the Royals. They were 15-4 against Minnesota last year. Jason Castro in his first regular season series as a Minnesota Twin had a huge series. This is our Honda play of the game. This was a double against Mike Minor in the bottom of the 7th inning, driving in the first of 2 runs to put Minnesota in front.
As poorly as the Royals played in these 3 games, you got to credit the Twins.
Yep,
they played
absolutely.
good. They played good baseball, man. There's no excuses. This is